Okay. Welcome everybody to your Promote with Passion. I'm super excited. My name is Laurie Lambert, and I'm your Field Development Manager. We affectionately call our region the Bravo region. If you look at a map, I've had a long day, as you can tell, and you call this Texas and you call this New England. I have everything east of that. So pretty much with some zigs and zags in there. So it's a total of 27 states, and I think all but one of you fall into one of those 27 states. So thank you so much for being part of our Promote with Passion series. And this is a great leadership class. I really believe you'll get a lot out of it. In fact, let me just go back and say, I know you'll get a lot out of it if you apply what you learn. Quite honestly, if you don't apply what you learn, you're just wasting your time. You're not wasting mine, because I'm doing it for another 30 people. So I'm going to be here this hour, but I don't want anyone to waste their time. At the end of each session, there will be homework. But this homework, don't let that freak you out. It should be things you're doing in your business anyway. And most of it you'll be doing at your parties, so it won't take any extra time unless you don't have parties and you're having to book parties. So, but in most cases, you'll find that the activities are very relevant to everything that you need to be doing to build a successful business, whether you're building an online business, an in-home party business, a Facebook business, or hopefully a combination of all of the above. So we're going to have a theme for this class, and the theme is going to be me plus 3. And I want you to start thinking of your business in threes. It's the most successful way. Now, I know that not every single one of you are going to be able to do every single thing we've talked about. But here's what I want you to know. I am talking to the general public. I am talking to get you to be successful. I believe you're here because you want to make big money. You wouldn't be investing if this was just a hobby of yours. But if you had the choice to make some money or big money, I believe you're here because you want to make big money. So I'm going to tell you how to do it. It may not be in your comfort zone. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. But most people have to get out of their comfort zone to be highly successful. And so we're going to talk at that level. If you find, I call it the Olympic level. So, you know, we all join in, let's say, on the kindergarten level. And then there's the elementary level and the high school level and the college level. And then there's like the professional or the Olympic level. I believe that if you need to do it, the reason you've invested today is because you want to be successful and you want to be at the Olympic level. So that is why I'm going to be talking me plus 3. Again, I have some people that I think have not background noise muted, so if you don't mind, it's probably those of you on the phone. I don't have as much control over your stuff. I'm going through to look to see if I can find any. Let me go through and mute. I think I've got okay, whatever noise we had is gone now. I want you to be able to really use this. So I want you to think about your business in me plus, and write this down. It's not in your book. And if you don't have your book, that's okay too, because you're going to be taking notes. I had a pastor tell me many years ago that the shortest pencil is better than the longest memory. So we're going to take notes so that we remember things. Me plus 3 parties a week. You know, if you don't go to your office at least 3 times a week, sometimes it's hard to be able to meet enough people to do things. It's hard. You don't have places to train people. I want to teach you through these classes how to be paid to be training. I would rather you go to a party and take a trainee and make money at that party than to sit on a phone with someone for 2 hours and not make money. So if you have 3 parties a week, you're going to have plenty of places to train. Me plus 3 cocoa chats a week, talking to 3 people about the business. Me plus 3 recruits every month. So we have 3 parties, 3 cocoa chats a week, 3 recruits a month, okay? Which in turn will help you to promote 3 leaders every quarter, which will help you promote 3 managers every year, which will help you, when doing all that, find 3 others that want to make big money and teach them to do the same. And that's how you get to that 6-figure income that so many of you desire. I've had many of you tell me if I could just quit my full-time job, right, Lissa Horan? I saw that smile. She's ready to do it. And there's so many others of you that just can't wait to do this. Dina Clark, I might better be quiet. Your boss might be one of your recruits, some of y'all, and I might get you in trouble, huh? But I need you guys to trust me. I need you to believe that I would never, ever guide you to a place that wouldn't make you successful. That would be silly. I wouldn't have a job. Just like you, I had to trust someone when I started in this industry. You know, I honestly took my business so serious that I didn't know I had a choice. I was actually told, now don't let this freak you guys out, but I was told I had to hold 5 to 7 parties every week and talk to 5 people a week about the business. Well, let me tell you, I was one of the fastest growing consultants at Tupperware that they'd ever had. I was at a 6-figure income in 2 years on a really crappy comp plan. I was #1 in the country by my 3rd year, 3.5 years in the business. Why? Because I took that seriously. And I earned every trip. I earned every award. I made tons of money. I've made millions of dollars in this industry, and I want you to be able to have that. Now, you may not want to hold 5 to 7 parties, but if you can make 6 figures and just get out of your house 5 to 7 times a week, and remember, I used to do 4 on Saturday. So that's one day, 4 parties. That only leaves 1 other day or 3 other time slots that I've got to get out of the house. How many of you would like to make that kind of money? And I was partying. I was having fun. I was meeting people. I always had places to train. I was recruiting at my parties. It makes your job so easy. But the first thing that I have to ask of you, and I'm going to come off my view here where it's just me, and I'm going to look at all of you, and I need you to look at me and say, I trust you, Lori, because if you don't trust me, there's no use in going through this training. I'm reading lips. Some of you didn't say it. Say, I trust you, Lori. Okay?
I trust you, Lori.
Yay. I will not lead you astray. I promise. I'm only going to share with you what has made me successful, what has made others successful, and what others taught me. Most of what I train you on is not going to be original. I wish I could hold claim to it, but others have gone before me and taught me, and I've just used it. So I need you to get out of your comfort zone. Nothing great happens in a comfort zone. You've got to get beyond your comfort zone. So there are going to be times during this training you're going to be uncomfortable. I can remember back in the day, 26 years ago, for those of you that don't know me, when I started, we didn't have internet and Facebook and all that. Y'all, I used to sit down with a phone book that had zip codes, and I called every 75052 zip code, I'm sure, in Grand Prairie, Texas. Now, do you think that was in my comfort zone? I thought they were crazy. I didn't want to do that. But you know what? Someone told me to do it that had done it before me, and it worked. So I did it. If I wanted to be super successful at golf, and I went to Tiger Woods' golf coach, and he said, Lori, part of being successful in the game of golf is you have to stand on your head in a corner for 30 minutes every day. That's what made Tiger Woods successful. Don't you think I would stand on my head for 30 minutes every day in a corner? Here's the good news. You don't have to stand on your head in a corner for 30 minutes every day. But there might be something that makes you a little uncomfortable. But do me a favor, try it. If it just doesn't work for you, okay. But kind of like you tell your kids to eat their vegetables, try a bite. They don't know until they try. I'm going to ask you to do the same thing alongside of me. I want to take you from good to great because I believe all of you are already good, but I want you to have great businesses. And here's what I want you to ask yourself. What would you be willing to do if you knew you wouldn't fail? What would you be willing to do? Probably everything, right? You'd do anything if you knew you wouldn't fail at it. If you knew you could be a professional baseball player and you wouldn't fail, how many of you would be one? Well, why not? They make a bunch of money. I'd do it, you know? What would you do if you knew you wouldn't fail? Do you know that there is statistically most people fail or most people quit the day before they succeed, because we don't know it's coming. We don't know it's coming. We just quit too soon. So every time you're ready to quit, just say, I'm going to do it one more day. I'm going to make one more call. I'm going to have one more party. Okay? Just do one more when you're ready to quit. And then when you're ready to quit again, I'll tell you, there's days I've quit, but only for an hour or so. And then I remind myself of all the things I wouldn't have if it weren't for this industry. Quick, so you know my story. I won't bore you with it because I know that's not why you came here, but hopefully it'll inspire some of you. I started in the industry 26 years ago. My kids were 4 months, 2 and 4. We had just moved to Texas from Canada. I knew no one. Don't any of you tell me you don't know anyone, because I knew the names of 4 people in the state of Texas. 4. Count them, 4. My brother was one of them, and to this day, he and his wife have never had a party for me. It's okay. They haven't had a party for anyone else. Now, if they'd have it for someone else, that wouldn't be okay. They are not party people. There are non-party people out there. And maybe your family is not being as supportive as you would like them to be. I had to beg, borrow, and steal. I couldn't hold a launch party because I'd only left 3 people that I knew the names of. One of them was our church organist. Her name was Nancy Walton. And I remember asking Nancy to have a party for me because she was one of the few people that I had met. And I remember telling her, if you'll do this for me, I'll never, ever ask you again. I promise. I just need to meet some people and we need to make money. And she did. And she had a great party. And from that party, I booked 2 or 3 parties. And from those parties, I booked parties. And it snowballed. So the 3 people I know, I said 2 of the 3 had parties for me. And that's when I started this business with 26 years ago. And I've never been out of it. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. I've never worked a vendor event, or I've never paid for a vendor event, never worked a vendor event except on the corporate side. Never when I was building my business. It was all grindstone, meeting people when I was out. I didn't have any money, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have a gentleman on here. I couldn't pay for a vendor event. I don't even know if they did vendor events 26 years ago. Nobody ever asked me to do one. It was calling cold through the phone book. It was meeting people in the candy aisle. It was meeting the cashier. It was using every possibility, talking to moms at the soccer field. But really, it was using my parties. Because every party I went to, my host invited her entire network for me to meet. Why would I pay someone if I could get it for free? Now, this is not to say you shouldn't do vendor events, but what I'm saying is you can build a business. If there's a will, there's a way. There's a few of you on here I used those words with this week when you were struggling to get your 3 parties. But I said, if there's a will, there's a way. And I speak to that firsthand. From those couple of parties, I built the #1 business in the entire nation at Tupperware in less than 4 years. Now, was it easy? No. Did I get out of my comfort zone? All the time. Did I cry? Yes. Did I hate life at moments? Yes. Did I want to pull my hair out? Yes. But did I quit? No. Because my family depended on it. I didn't have the luxury of another income. It was it. That was it. But let me tell you, it's provided an amazing opportunity for my family. I've made tons of money, but I've had time. I've had the lifestyle that I desired, which was about time. It wasn't about money. However, let me tell you, money's nice to have, and there's nothing wrong with that. I've been able to be much more charitable because I've had the money to be charitable. I've been able to help friends and family. My husband laughed at me the other night. I called him. I go, hey, we're going to the Jimmy Buffett concert with Chrissy and Chris. And oh, by the way, I bought their tickets. Why'd you buy their tickets? I said, because they're young and poor and can't afford it. You know, I like being able to do that. They're not really poor. It's my niece and her husband. But they're raising 3 little kids. I remember. How many of y'all are raising kids out there? It's not cheap, is it? And you know what? I can tell you, I may have missed a soccer practice. I may have even missed a soccer game. But when I took my kid to play hockey in Slovakia for 10 days, do you think he's going to remember that? Or is he going to remember the one soccer practice that I missed? I may have missed a birthday. But you know what? When I told my kids if I ever had to hold a party on their birthday, they got the profit. Guess what? Those teenagers were kicking me out the door on their birthday. We think we're really important. When you're a teenager, you're not that important, y'all. I hate to tell you. When they're 2, the only day their birthday is the party day. It doesn't matter if you work on their birthday. It's okay. These are the things that might be hard for you to hear at times from me, but I'm going to say them anyway. I may step on a few toes, but I tell you what, your shoes might feel better afterwards and you'll get moving a little faster, okay? So you're just going to have to bear with me. Sometimes I'm not as sensitive, but it's because I am sensitive, but sometimes it comes out because I'm trying to talk really fast and give you all a lot of information. But it's because I want you to have what I have. I feel like I have led the best life ever. I really do. I wouldn't change one thing in the world. I've been able to, I love teenagers. I'm one of those weirdos. I love teenagers. I've been able to work in the youth group at our church on Sundays and Wednesdays and not have to ask for time off. I've been able to take off weeks and go to church camp with our teenagers because that's what I love to do. When I had, when my kid did play hockey in Slovakia for 10 days, I was off 6 weeks that year because I had built a great business and I'd never had to ask anyone for time off. But did I work hard? I worked really hard. But it paid off and it was worth every second of it. And I'll tell you one thing, the best compliment that has ever been paid to me was about 5 years ago when my son was standing in the kitchen with his then girlfriend. He was probably about 25. It was my oldest. She was going back to school and she didn't know what kind of job she was going to get. And he said, "Why don't you do what my mom does? Look how successful she's been and how she's raised us." I just about died. Because, all those days you wonder, that soccer game I missed, I missed kindergarten graduation too, by the way. I was in Hawaii on my first incentive trip. And guess what? At first grade graduation, you know what my son wanted to know? If the hot girl that I sent to graduation, which was our babysitter, could be at first grade graduation. He wouldn't even care if I was there. So all these things that we think are so traumatic, you know what, in the end, your kids are watching you build a life for them and build a life for yourself. And you're going to see all this come true in them. With all that being said, let's get into this is why me plus 3, okay? Very simple. You can have this too. Dad has such an amazing comp plan. I can't even imagine how much money I would have made if I'd have been on this comp plan. It is flipping ridiculous. And if those of you that don't understand, you've got 3 key things that most companies don't offer. Number 1, you have no breakaway. If I recruit you, I don't care if you go 6 levels above me, you're still front line to me. I still make my 5%, even if you're above me. That's almost unheard of. Second, when you promote a manager team, most companies take money away. So when someone's on your team and you make 3% on your entire team, and that team breaks away and becomes a manager, usually your income on that team would go down because now we got to pay them 3%. At Dove, it goes from 3 to 5. It goes up. That's amazing. Then, get this, it pays on infinity. We have an infinity bonus on your group volume. That's crazy. Some companies may have one of those, but I don't know of one other company that has all 3 of those. So you're working for a great company. So because of time, because I tend to get long-winded, I'm going to have you in your book, you can read all the definitions of what a successful leader is. Lead by example, and we are going to talk by that. As a leader, your job is to hold parties every week and to recruit every month. If you don't recruit one month, I don't care if you had 27 the month before. You're telling your team that month it's okay not to recruit, but it's not. Because you're setting an example. Remember, you are the mirror that your team is looking in. So what do you want them to see? Okay? I'm not saying it'll never happen, but I wouldn't let it happen very often because you are the mirror that your team is looking at. You need to be holding parties. If you've got a new recruit and you don't have a party for them to go watch you do, they're going to think, well, parties must not be very important. How are they going to train? You need to master the fundamentals, and that's what this business, this training is all about. Booking parties, recruiting, doing cocoa chats, building the sale. You're going to learn all of that in this. Only do what can be duplicated. I won't share any names, but I got a text today from someone that asked me if something was okay. I said, yeah, it's great, but I wouldn't do it. It's not duplicatable. It's not something everyone can do. If everyone can do it, and what do I mean by that? If you want to make full-fledged dinners for people and serve full-size martinis and full chicken breast with a full salad, that's not duplicatable. It would eat up your entire profit. Now, maybe you're not doing this for the profit. If not, send it to me. I always can use more. But even if you're not doing it for the profit, you've got to remember that most people are. And so you got to keep them profitable. So that's not duplicatable. So keep those things in mind. Build your business from the top down. That means you're at the top. Focus on you first, then teach your people so they can teach their people, so they can teach their people, so they can teach their people. It's just like a corporation. If I go get a job at a big corporation, the president teaches his vice president, that teaches his managers, that teaches his full-time workers, that teaches his part-time workers. It's the exact same thing. The president of the company is not down here teaching the part-time workers. They build from the top. And that's exactly what we want you to do. It's important to have goals in this business. Now, it's hard for me because I've got this on what I call speaker view, so my video comes out a little cleaner. But it's hard not to be able to look at all of you all the time. But I want you to know that a goal is not your job. Your goal should be above your job. So as a leader, I am going to come off my speaker view for just a second. To be a leader, what it takes is 3 personal active recruits, okay? 3 personal active recruits. Now, let me explain this word active to you. It confuses a whole lot of people. They get active and qualified confused. Please write this down. It'll save you a lot of heartache in the long run. 3 personally recruited, that means you recruited them. It doesn't mean that someone in your downline recruited them, that person quit and they rolled up. You can't change who recruited them. They change what level they're on. You can't change who recruited them, even if they leave the business. So it's 3 personally recruited people that are active. The word active for the purpose of the compensation plan is $400 in sales in a 3-month rolling period. This is for the comp plan, for you to be able to consider them one of your active for the comp plan. It's $400 in sales in a 3-month roll. Well, if they join today is the 25th of May. We don't have 3 months, so we give them an automatic active in May. Then we don't have 3 months in June. So we get to call them active in June. But by the end of July, 1, 2, 3, they have to have that total of $400 in these 3 months. Okay? Then June, July, August, they have to have these 3 months, $400. Okay? So it's very important that you understand. So you can go, if you're on here today and you're sitting pretty with good sales and you're just missing a recruit, 2 or 3 to get promoted, go get them because they're going to be active this month. You have nothing, they don't have to turn in a dime. They're going to be active. And it's not, listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's not days, it's months. So if they join on May 1st or May 31st, May is month 1. Does not matter. May 1st or 31st, May is month 1. June 1st or 30th, June is month 1. July 1st or 31st, July is month 1. It doesn't matter when they join. If the name of the month is in their start date, that is the month they start. That's month 1. Okay? Qualified has nothing to do with our comp plan. So that's why we can change what qualified is. So qualified for Quick Start is $200 in their first 45 days, right? But those of you that were around last month, remember for Sweet Shop, it was 545 days. Y'all remember that? And the reason we can do that is qualified is a promotional term. Whatever the promotion is, we can assign whatever dollar we want to it. And you can have two going on at the same time. Sweet Shop and for some people, Quick Start were going on at 2 different times. So for one thing, they could sell 200 and be qualified, but that didn't qualify them for Sweet Shop, did it? So it's really important. Put that term qualified out of your head for leadership. Has nothing to do. I could qualify today with $200 and never ever be active in my entire life if I don't have a $400 in a 3-month role, except for month 1 and 2, of course. Make sense? This would be a time that if it doesn't make sense, you come off mute and ask. This is so important if you don't understand that. And don't feel silly, because I promise if you are confused, someone else is also.
I just wanted to know how the $400 in 3 months active. When I joined, I was told active was $600 in a rolling 6-month period.
Right.
Is that something else, or?
That is just to keep your account open. That has nothing to do with the career plan. That's just to keep your account open.
Okay. Okay.
That's just to keep your account open. That's basically, we want to make sure you're still alive. If someone has sold 600 in 6 months, maybe something's happened. We might need to check on them. So, yeah, that's what that one is. And I know that's a lot of numbers, and that's a good question, Spencer, but that's just to keep your account open. Any other questions? All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes?
You can. Awesome. I started in March.
Okay.
And I've had a party, and I've got like between $200 and $300. My next party won't be until June. So would I be considered I can be considered active once those parties go put in?
So at the end of this month, if you don't get to $400, March, April, May, you said, if right now you've got $300 and you need to put in another 100, Tracy, before the end of May, or you will not be considered an active chocolatier for your sponsor leader upline's career plan.
Okay.
Okay. Now.
Hello?
Depending on when you turn that sales in, then we'll look at May and June. So whatever was in March will fall off. So if all 300 was in March, then you're starting at 0 again, but it depends. You'll have to look at that. And by the way, ladies, you can go to your team details. Team details, scroll all the way to the right, and there's a column that says 90 and 60-day sales. So you can look and see what you've had in the last 90 or last 60. You can also click on the little square by your name and look at what you've had exactly in each month to keep up with it.
Thank you.
Okay? Does that make sense, Tracy? Does that help you out? Good. So that was another good question. So thank you. All right. So having a goal is really important. But remembering your job as a leader, your goal is not to be paid as a leader. That's your job. Your job is to have 3 active recruits, you have to have a total of $1,500 in sales with at least 600 coming from you. So what I always tell people is that with that least coming, so own your own destiny and every month have $1,500 in sales, because that's really your job, is to have 1,500 in sales with at least 600 coming from you.
I got a question.
Okay, who's this?
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn.
Okay, here is my problem. I've done 4 parties and sold nothing at all. Nobody would buy anything.
All right, Jocelyn.
And I've never actually done a hosting party where I went to somebody's house, because the girl that was supposed to, she was like, okay, well, I'm going to let you come to a party with me so you could see what to do. She never did. So like every party that I've ever had, nobody's bought anything.
Okay, Jocelyn, mainly because we only have an hour, let's take that. You send me an email, and you and I'll set up a time I can visit with you or connect you with one of your upline leader or someone like that. But I won't be able to get into all of that because I'll have to know all the nuances, and it doesn't pertain to everyone on here. So if you'll send me an email,
Okay.
I'll set up a time and we'll talk about that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So your goal needs to be different than your job. It needs to be bigger. Or, you know, if all I did was say, I'm going to show up and do my job, I probably wouldn't have a job very long. None of us would. Company owners, and remember, you're your own company owner, look for people that go beyond the job. That's who they want to work for them. And that's who you want to work for you. So be the person that you would want to work for you and go beyond. So your job is to be paid at title every month. So that is why I always say, if you follow my Me+3, you'll blow that out the water. You'll never, ever, ever. I'm watching Amy Graziano shake her head because every month Amy Graziano blows that out of the water. Every bit of that. She doesn't sell $600. Actually, Amy's a manager, so her number's 1,000. Amy doesn't sell 1,000. She sells 3,000 or 4,000, or 5,000 or 8,000. She doesn't look at a minimum, and that's why Amy has a very highly successful business and is part of our advisory council right now. She doesn't have one recruiter, just 5 active. I bet you if I pulled up Amy's account right now, she'd have between 10 and 15 active chocolatiers because she's constantly bringing in new. Not just one, not just two, most months, not just 3. It's usually more than that. Amy, a lot of you may not even realize it, but a lot of you are in Amy's downline because she's promoted other leaders and other managers. So that's how that works. And it's because she's never been focused on the minimum. From the day she walked through our door, she focused on how much can I do? How much money can I make? Not what do I have to do to get paid? And so there is your today true life. And we have other managers. Becky Grant's on here. Rebecca Graham's on here. And all of them are where they are because not one of them focused on a minimum. Not one of them. And so, and of course, lots of others. Those are just the ones that I know that are on here with us today. So I want you to think about, what do you want? What would you have if you knew you wouldn't fail? You know, it doesn't have to be anything. I can remember one of the first things that I wanted when I was I had to pay my bills first. But paying my bills, quite honestly, doesn't motivate me. It has to be done, and I'm very, very responsible, by the way. But it doesn't motivate me. But when I was 26 years old and 3 little kids, getting my nails done and a pedicure was very motivating to me. And it was a lot of money to my family. Taking $100, $150 every month out of our income was a lot of money to us. Now today, I'm fortunate to say it's a drop in the bucket. But back then, it was a lot of money. You know, it was, man, making our car payment of $500 when I very, very first started, $500 was life-changing to my little family. And some of you may be there today. Some of you may be fortunate enough that you're not there any longer, but most of us have been there at some point in our life, right? Where $100 or $500 or, you know, is life-changing. So mine started out with just wanting to get my nails done. And then as my business grew, one year I decided I wanted to buy Six Flags and Hurricane Harbor passes for all 5 of us. Wasn't going to do it if I didn't make it above and beyond the bills. That was not in the budget. And one good thing is we did live within our means. And I learned for me that if I included my kids in my goals, sometimes I'd let myself down, but I'd never let my kids down. So if I shared my goal with them, I was really committed to it. One year it was to take my sister on a trip. I may have let myself down, but I was not going to let my sister down. It got to where one year, as I built and built and built and built and built, probably about year 8, I bought 2 Sea-Doos. Do y'all know what those are? Like jet skis, Sea-Doos? with cash, $22,000. I walked into Cowtown seated. And that was a big goal, but it started with getting my nails done. I didn't set, my initial goal was not going to buy 2 CDs. It was many years later. But that's what you can have by just focusing on the fundamentals of me plus 3. Now, when you're doing your parties, one of the most important thing is you've got to keep booking. You've got to book every single week. And so go ahead and write this down, because every single person, to stay in this class each week, you're going to have homework. So your homework is to book at least, there's 2 parts to this, so you got to listen because I don't know where everybody is. At least 1 party into June, but you have to have a total of 3 in June. So if you've already got 3 in June, you got to book 1. If you only have 1 in June, you got to book 2. Okay? So when we get together on before our next call, you're going to need to have booked enough parties that you have 3 in June. Now, some of you already have 3, so you're just going to have to book 1. Some are going to have to book more. But here's the thing. If I can do it knowing 3 people when I started in this business, you can do it also. Is it going to be easy? Probably not. Going to get out of your comfort zone? Probably so. Going to have to beg a little? Yeah, maybe. But anything worth having, you're going to do that, right? That's how we're going to do that. And if you need help, I've got some great videos on my YouTube channel, and I can send them to you, or you can go take a look, and on booking parties. Okay, we'll spend some more time on that later. But the first thing I want to talk about is your power statement. So many reasons people don't book parties at parties is because they don't tell people they're going to book parties at parties, and they don't ask people for parties. Quite honestly, that's what you want to do. So when I was I've gone through a number of educational type things. I'm a certified business coach. I've gone through training the trainer type of thing, becoming a trainer. And one thing I was always taught when I was being taught to become a trainer is you tell people what you're going to tell them, and then you tell them, and then you tell them what you've told them. So you prepare them, you share it, and you summarize it. And that's pretty much what we do at our parties with our power statement. It's the beginning that we're going to tell people what we're going to tell them. Have you ever been at something and you're thinking, I wonder what's next. I wonder when this is going to be over. I really wish I knew. And instead of paying attention, your mind's trying to figure out what's happening next and when is it going to be over and am I going to get to leave? Whereas if you go to something and they say, we're going to do this, this, and this, when they get to this, you know it's about the end, and so you're good to go, right? You're anticipating. That's what your power statement is. At the beginning of your party, you want to tell people what to expect. You want to tell people they're going to have fun. If you tell people they're going to have fun and you make it fun, they're going to have fun. But they've got to anticipate, hey, this isn't going to be stuffy. This is going to be a fun party. You got to tell them we're going to be trying all kinds of cool and new products. You've got to tell them, I'm going to be asking you to have a party. I'm going to be asking you to join my team. I'm going to be asking you, who do you know that would maybe like to do this? That is what we call your power statement. It's the power of the party that sets the stage for everything else that's going to happen, okay? So thinking about that, I'm going to share with you a power statement. I haven't rehearsed it. I'm going to do it off the top of my head. For those of you that have your book already, there's one in the book. And then the second piece of your homework is to prepare your own power statement and use it at your parties this week. And also share it with your upline leader or manager. Okay? I would love to see them all, and you can send them to me. Just don't get upset if I don't respond right away. There's about 40 of you that are taking this class right now, and I just know my limitations. So I'd love for you to share it with me also, but do share it with your upline leader or a manager, and they're going to be expecting this. So I want you to listen. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. I want you to make sure I tell you I'm going to ask you for parties. I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you about the business. And I want you to kind of get a feel so you'll know. So this is what my power statement might sound like. Hi, my name is Lori. I just want to thank all of you for coming to Sherry's today, but I especially want to thank Sherry for inviting me into her home. This is the biggest compliment she can pay me, is to introduce me to all her friends since she had such a great time at Cindy's parties last week. And I want you to know we're going to have just as much fun today at Sherry's party as we did at Cindy's. So get ready because it's going to be a blast. Now, some of you probably think of chocolate as just candy, but tonight you're going to be tasting it in many different ways. You're going to be tasting it in our Cocoa Roma pasta sauce. We're going to have some baked goods. We're going to have some martinis. We're even going to have some healthy chocolate. I bet you didn't know that's kind of like an oxymoron, isn't it? Healthy chocolate, but it's not when you're part of Dove Chocolate Discovery. So we're going to have fun. We're going to taste a lot of products. I'll be telling you about all the wonderful awards and rewards that Sherry's going to be receiving that Cindy has already gotten, and asking you to be thinking of a date that you'd like to get your friends and family together to do this all over again. Because trust me, don't be selfish. Don't keep this to yourself. Let your friends be part of it. And I'm also going to be telling you about what I do and how much fun it is, because I bet some of you are out there thinking, you know, I could do something alongside my family and other activities to bring in a little extra money or a lot of extra money or a whole bunch of something. And I would love to talk to you about that. So be thinking about a time that we can visit over coffee or over the phone, and I can share more with you. Maybe it's for you now, maybe it's for later, or maybe it's for something you want to share with a friend, and you can tell me that as well. So how many of you are ready to get started? So that's my power statement. So they know what's happening, right? We're gonna be having fun. We're gonna taste things. I'm gonna be asking them to have a party, and so they're anticipating. And if you tell them that and you don't ask them, they're gonna think you don't like them. That's the truth. There's a jeweler, and some of y'all may know it now. It's become national. They're called Zales Jewelers. How many of y'all have ever heard of Zales Jewelers? Well,
Right.
Zales started here in Texas. And my mentor did a party that Miss Zales was at. And she was a little intimidated by her. And she never asked her to have a party. And her husband afterwards, because Mrs. Zales' feelings were very hurt because she had wanted to have a party with her. Now, how many of y'all would like to have a party with Miss Zales? Right? So remember, anybody you don't ask is somebody that you have an opportunity that you could really hurt their feelings. And so don't hurt people's feelings. Be good to them, and take good care of them, and make sure everybody hears that. So your job, one of your things is to write your power statement, share it with at least your upline leader and manager. And I'd love for you to share it with me and practice it at the parties that you have. Now, what you'll also find is, did you hear me asking questions like, doesn't that sound like fun? You don't want to be selfish and keep this from your friends. I'm creating a thought process for them so that they start to envision themselves doing this. So that when they come to me and I'm actually inviting them to have a party, that when I ask them, things like, Melissa, did you have fun tonight? Oh, yeah, I had a great time. What were some of the things that you tried tonight that you're not going to be able to purchase, but you might like to get at a later date? Well, the pasta sauce and the brownies, I'm at the end of my budget. Well, I bet you have some friends you wish had been here with you tonight, don't you? Yes, I do. My friend Melissa and Kathy would have loved this. Well, since you had so much fun and you want to get the brownies and the pasta sauce, and your friend Kathy would have loved it, let's set a date for you to do this all over again and pay me that same compliment that Sherry did. And I'll treat you just as special as I treated her. What would be good for you, a daytime or an evening? That's how you put parties on your calendar. I never said, do you want to have a party, did I? Because if I'd have said, do you want to have a party, she probably would have said no. Because that's what people say, because we don't want to commit. So don't give them a chance. Show them what's in it for them. Ask them questions to find out what they enjoyed most so that you have them and you can play back to them and create a vision for them of what they're going to experience. Now she's seeing herself in her house with her friend, around them, having this great experience, so then she wants to do it. The second thing that we want to cover, and we're getting low on time, so I've got to talk fast here, is our full service checkout. Now, this is a really important piece to your business. First off, this will happen, I think, in next week's class. We'll talk about hostess coaching. But just so you know ahead of time, my hostess folder and my recruiting folder are one and the same. I use exactly the same thing because I figure if they say yes to recruiting, I need a hostess pack to plan their launch. And if I'm hostess coaching them, I should talk to them about the business opportunity so we can convert them. So they might all as well be one and the same. So, but for the full service checkout, I need 3 piles. So what I do is I go ahead and I have an extra stack of my recruiting brochures. I have my hostess packets, and then I use 3x5 cards or 4x6, whatever fits in your filing system best. And when I'm doing my full service checkout, what I'm doing here is I'm making sure I touch on all the ways that we service people. And the way we service is by offering a recruiting opportunity, a business opportunity. We service by offering an opportunity to host a party. And we service through asking for referrals and follow-up. So we always start with at the top of the mountain, which is recruiting. The best is our recruiting opportunity. Second is host. Third is the referrals. And so what I'm going to do is when you come to check out with me, I'm going to look at you and say, hey, Rachel, thank you so much. Let me, tally up your order. By the way, how I get people to the table is I say, do me a favor. Please don't total your order. Taxes on food and non-food items are really weird. Let me do all the hard work. I don't want them to total it because I want to be able to add to the order. And if they totaled it, it's harder to add to the order. So please let me do all the hard work. And if you're in a hurry to get out of here and you see somebody with me, just if you'll walk over and just turn your order upside down, I'll reach from the bottom and I'll call you next. But just turn it down and you can go back and visit with your friends. That way I also don't get a crowd around the table. And then, so if Rachel's with me at the table and I say, all right, Rachel, I pull in her, I said, Rachel, will you go get Amy? So Rachel goes and gets Amy. And then if there's not an order there, I'll say, Amy, when you go back out, will you ask who wants to be next? I put that guest in charge. And then it doesn't make it look like me being pushy trying to get out of there like I really am because time is money, right? So when they come up, I've got my 3 piles, my recruiting brochures, my host pack, and I always take 4 because you're not through till you book 2. And if you want more, you're going to book 4. So I always have 4 packs with me and my 3x5 or 4x6 cards. So when I sit down, and let's say I'm sitting down with Spencer and I say, Spencer, I hope you had fun tonight. Let me tally up your order here. And I'm going to talk to you about our order. Oh, wasn't that good? Oh, do you want to add this to your order? You're only $10 away from getting this special and blah, blah, blah. And then I'll say, Spencer, we service people. I want to make sure that I give you great customer service. I have a couple things that I just like to cover with you. Is that okay with you? And as soon as I say, is that okay? And she says yes, she's giving me permission to go through everything. And right. In a weird kind of way, she's a little obligated to listen now, right? So I say, Spencer, I remember when we got started today, you said if, you had an extra $500 to $1,500, you'd love to take your family to Disney World. Spencer, I was able to do that and stay at the Polynesian with my family thanks to my amazing Dove business, many, many years ago, or my direct selling business. Many years ago. And you know what, do you realize that you could have that done in less than a year and the way you want it, not just, at the hotel miles away, but the kind that you really, really want to do. And Spencer, I'm getting some background noise. Someone's talking. I'm sorry. I thought I had muted everybody. If you're not on mute and don't mind, that would be excellent. So Spencer, why don't you and I meet for coffee, or I could even give you a call, whichever would work better for you, and we could talk about how you can have that trip to Disney World. And I promise I'll help you see how easy, it is to get your parties booked by asking other people. Now, Spencer just says, no, now's not a good time. I'm just not interested in that right now. I'm going to say, Spencer, I totally understand. Would it be okay if I check in with you about once a month to see if things have changed? When I call you, I'm just going to say it's your monthly check-in, Spencer. Has anything changed? And I promise that's all I'll say, and I won't bug you. I'll probably even get your voicemail, and you can let me know. And she'll say, yeah, that's fine. I say, well, another way that we service, of course, is through our parties. And I hope you had a good time tonight, didn't you? Yeah, I had a great time. And, you know, I noticed that you had some things on your wish list here on your order form that you didn't purchase. You know, wouldn't it be great to get those for free? Well, yeah, it would. Well, Spencer, since you had such a great time, now I'm going to do the party booking, right? And then if for any reason at that point I can't get her to book a party, then I'm going to ask her for referrals. And what I do is I have little samples. And I take things like 3 cinnamon dusted almonds in one of our little bags in my business card, or 1 sea salted caramel. Our tea packets are great. A scoop of or 2 of our coffee is good. And what I tell them is I'm going to get the name of 2 of their friends. And if either one of them books a party or joins my team, I'll turn that sample into the real thing. So if I give them cinnamon dusted almonds and one of those people book a party or join my team, I give them the 8-ounce box of cinnamon dusted almonds. If I do the sea salted caramels, I give them the 6-piece sea salted caramels. So it depends on, that's like, for me, that's cheaper than spending money going to events. But I say, I know you want to get that free, but what's going to make this really work is as soon as you get home today, I want you to call your 2 friends and say, you're probably going to be hearing from the chocolate lady, and you can call me the chocolate lady, because I told her that you love chocolate and you always have such fun parties, or I know you're looking for part-time work. Her name is Lori, and she's going to be calling you. That way, when I call, and I go, you know, hey, Melissa, this is Lori. I'm a friend of Rachel. She should have told you I was going to give you a call. It's much friendlier, and it's no longer a cold call. Make sense? So that is your full service checkout. So I literally, to make sure as I'm talking to you, I'm going to literally put my hand on each thing as I talk about it. Because what that's telling you is I'm not going to stop talking until I get through here. And I asked you, would it be okay if I shared with you how we give good customer service, and you agreed? Now, if someone really doesn't want to have it, hear it, they'll interrupt, don't you worry. So, but it's a much better way to get your information across than anything else. So, last but not least, in the wrap up to our call, we have 6 minutes left. Y'all will learn I am very prompt, and I hope you appreciate that, and I appreciate all of you being on time. And then we'll review our homework. Is your 21 days to success. So I mailed each of you. They say it takes 21 days to form a habit. So I mailed each of you, or emailed rather, just some paper. You can take a piece of yellow legal pad. I don't care. I just want that information. The day, the date, the person's name, what you asked for, that's the action, and what the result was. So what part of your homework through Promote with Passion is to do 21 days to success. Now, I know that some of you are going to have life happen, and it's going to keep you from doing a day. Here's the bad part about that. You got to start over if you miss a day. Now, if you're on day 19 and you miss day 20, you got to start back at 1. So we're going to create a habit. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you, a little story. One of my favorite stories, and I wish I could remember her name, but it's out the side of my head right now. I had a gal back that did my class in October last year. And she had 3 parties on her calendar when she started, and then she just kind of got in a slump. And she was down and really had nothing. So she started doing her 21 days to success again. She got through about 7 days, she missed a day, had to start over. Got through about 10 days, missed a day, had to start over. The next time she got to 14 days, and I'm like, don't stop. We're on our coaching. I'm like, do not stop. Do it tomorrow. Do it the next day. On day 16, she booked 3 parties, got a recruit, and a fundraiser. Remember when I said so often our success comes when you're ready to quit? Just think if she would have quit after day 15. And that's a true story. I used to have her little quote on my invitation. And it's very important that, and I hope some of you can do it 21 straight days and not miss any. But when life gets in the way, ask yourself, if there was $10,000 on the line today, for me making my 3 contacts, would I find a way to make them? And if the answer is yes, find a way to make them. Because there is $10,000 on the line. That could be your income for a month or 2 months or 2 weeks as you grow your business. It could be your month, your first year. It could be whatever you want it to be, but it's there. So whatever you do, don't quit. And ask yourself, because sometimes we let little things we shouldn't get in our way, like little family problems. But if $10,000 was on the line, we'd overlook that problem, wouldn't seem so big. Or we'd find a way to work around it. Now, it's 3 contacts. That's not dialing 3 numbers. It's talking live to 3 people a day. Whether you see them in person, whether it's on the phone. I'll let one of the 3 be a text message. I don't want them all to be text, because text only if you're conversing though. Not if it's a one-way. Email does not count. It is a conversation, and there has to be a question. So if you're trying to book parties, at some point you have to invite them. You don't have to say, do you want to have a party? But you have to say, how about we get your friends together for a party? If we could either do a weekend or an evening, which would be best for you. The reason I want you to write that action down and write that result down is because so often I'll find that people talk about their business, but they don't ask for business. I sell Dove chocolate. It's really fun. You ought to think about it. You ought to think about it as a statement. It's not a question. There's got to be a question. You've got to ask for what you want. You do that 3 times a day. So if you're having a bad day, guess what? Walmart's open 24 hours. You can go walk the aisles at Walmart. Angie Schmidt had me cracking up today. She goes, I guess I'm the candy aisle stalker. She goes, I guess Dove Promises are on sale at Target right now. And if you have the Tumblr app, I don't know about all this, you get them cheaper. And so these ladies were talking about it, and she's got Cocoa Chat set up with 2 ladies from the aisle in Target, because they were talking about Dove Promises and red, white, and blue M&Ms. And she got to say, well, I work for the Mars Corporation at Dove Chocolate Discoveries, which of course always leads to, you do? You know, everybody wants to know, what's that? And she had just telling them wasn't enough. She said, I don't want y'all to think I'm the candy stalker. However, I would love to tell you about what I do. And they go, oh, that'd be great. We just got laid off from our jobs. How awesome is that? It's not awesome they got laid off. But how awesome is it that Angie was there to say, well, I've got another opportunity for you. And had she not been willing to step out of her comfort zone to perfect strangers, she would have missed that opportunity. Okay? So you've got to ask the question, and that's something we'll be reviewing very tightly on our coaching calls each week. So let me review real quick. First off, because it is exactly on the hour. First off, anybody that's in the Monday coaching call, Monday is a Memorial Day holiday. I am taking it off. I hope you are too, and you're having a great time with your family. So we'll be doing that one time, just this one time, we'll be doing the Monday call on Tuesday. Okay? If you've not, I think almost all of you are in your coaching group. If you've not sent me your party lineup, of course, and your coaching group, please do. The late evening one is filled. It went fast. And then homework is write your power statement and practice it at your parties or with other people this week. You have to do it with your husband or your teddy bears or your best friend or whatever. I don't care. This can be used on Facebook parties and all kinds of things. This isn't just because in Facebook parties, you want to tell them what you're going to tell them what you told them. It's to start your 21 days to success. Homework piece number 2. Book at least 1 party, but have a total of 3 or more on your calendar by next Wednesday. So book 1. If you need more than 1 to be at 3, book more than 1. You got to have a total of 3, but everybody has to have a new one. And pick out 3 people that you think would be great in your business. Just pick them out. You don't have to do anything with it if you don't want to. But I have a bonus for you since it's a holiday weekend. I have one $85 kit coupon for every single person on this call to be used by Tuesday. So you get a recruit, you can offer them a kit for $85. All you have to do, probably the best thing on the holiday weekend, is to text me. That's the fastest way to get to me, 817-217-7103, and it's also in the signature of my emails, 817-217-7103, and say, I have a recruit, I need a coupon. Okay? Every single one of you gets at least one coupon. If you get to me early enough and I have any left, you might get two. So don't stop recruiting between now and the end of the month, okay? That's Tuesday. So when you come to the call, you need to have, on Tuesday, you need to have your parties booked, at least one.
Sorry, I've lost your voice.
Does anybody else? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Whoever said, Lori, I've lost your voice, I'm not sure why, because everyone else can hear me. Okay. So you're going to have your party booked. You're going to have your 21 days filled out as far as you got. And if you have to start over, just print page 1 again and start over. You're going to write out your power statement, share it and practice it. And if you have parties this weekend, practice your full service checkout and write down the names of 3 people. So before next Wednesday, send me your 3 people you want on your team and the party that you've booked. Those are the things you have to email me. So there's one more thing you need to do. One more thing you need to do before you go to bed tonight. Email me. This is going to make sure, because some of you came on late. I know I didn't get everybody. Email me your favorite thing you learned today. You'll do that every week. That'll secure that I know you are here. We won't have to take roll every week. But email me every single week within 30 minutes of the call your favorite thing you learned. So just hang up and email, okay? All right, we are out of time. I will tell you what, I don't mind staying on for about 10 minutes if anybody has questions pertaining specifically to the training tonight. If it's off topic, please email me or text me your off topic and we'll set up a time, or I'll get you with someone that can help you. I am going to stop the recording.